Welcome, everybody. This is Will Torres with VSN, and we'd like to welcome you guys tonight. My co-host tonight will be Mr. Ron Rubio. Just want to say a warm welcome to everybody. So tonight, everybody, we got a schedule of some people that we want to talk a little bit of high school football about. So starting off today, we're going to reach out to some Imperial Valley coaches that play in the league and in the Desert League, and we're also going to reach out to the new named league, which used to be the Manzanita League. It is now called the Desert League. So first on the list, about 7:15, we're going to have the coach from Mount Empire. That's Bernard Van. We talked to him yesterday. Really good guy, Ron. What do you think about him?
Really good guy. You know, somebody that not too well known in the Imperial Valley. Why? Because he's not from the Imperial Valley. However, I think he's a representative for the Desert League now. And so comes across as a really good guy. He's a Chicago native, ex-CB in the Navy as a CB. And those of you who don't know what a CB is, a CB guy is the kind of guy that's never on a boat. He was, touched base with us that he never was on a ship. However, they fly to the location. So very interesting young man, Bernard Van. And Will's got a whole lot of questions for him that's going to show him in a way, that we've never seen him before.
Yeah, so to get back to the list of people that we invited, what we're going to do is we're going to have, starting with tonight, Tuesday, we're going to have somebody on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So tonight, like I was saying earlier, we're going to start off with Coach Bernard from Mount Empire. Then we're going to go to Coach from the Hopeville Vikings. That's Coach Jason Turner, man. Great guy. Talked to him today about some subjects we were going to talk to. Let me tell you, I got a little different perspective about his personality, and I like him. Every time I talk to Coach Turner, I like him a little bit more. I mean, this guy is just great to talk to, great football guy. Good things are coming his way with I think it's his 5th year, if I'm not mistaken. It might be his 5th year, but a lot of good things are coming to Hopeville, because you know how it is, Ron. You get into that cycle where a new coach comes in and it's a rebuilding year. Well, you know what? He's put in his dues. He started out, with the younger kids. So I think this might be Turner's time. He's got some exciting news about his schedule, but we'll get into it when he's up next. And then we're going to go north to Imperial Valley North, and we're going to talk to Doug Klein. Doug Klein is the superintendent of the Calapat Unified District down there. And the reason we have Doug Klein on there is because they don't have a coach right now. So you're going to hear some information if people are interested. He's looking out there for a good coach. I don't know if he has opened the interview. Those are some of the questions we're going to ask him, and we're pretty excited to have Doug Klein. He's going to let us know a couple of things that are going on with the school district. you know, just Doug is one of those, he's a Central graduate, just one of those great guys all around, and just good to talk to him, especially, you know, his kid's been through the system as he has as well, through all the sports system and stuff, especially the youngest one, Casey, playing up there at Boise State right now. And then we're going to finish the evening on the wild side. We're going to get old Gil Revelar on here, and that's going to throw us off a little bit of whack, but there's a reason we're inviting Gil Revelar. The reason being, he told us a story about what he went through when he was in high school as a football player. He said, you know, I can relate to it pretty good. He told us a story about the things that were going on in school, like he wasn't turning in his homework. He wasn't doing this. He was showing up late to tardy. The only thing that kept him in school was Coach Bishop, was that discipline, Ron. And there's a lot of coaches here in Imperial Valley. Me and Swearingen were talking about that the other day when we were practicing with the Zoom. He's going to be one of our guests later on. But it's those type of things that's taking you off track, Ronnie, and football keeps you straightforward because it's just that respect factor, you know, being the discipline part that you know, a lot of coaches like to play to coach players like that. So that's going to be our schedule. And then tomorrow we're going to start with the iconic duel from Calexico. That's John Moreno and Vic Carrillo. You know, let me tell you, man, I mean, those guys don't need no introduction. Let me tell you, man, that's a blast with those two guys. They were going to go with Coach Ruben Castro. Now, Calexico is also in a position where they don't have a head coach right now. The application opened up May 1st, so we're going to ask tomorrow, we're going to ask Coach Ruben Castro if he's going to apply for the job, and then what's his thinking behind the Bulldogs, Ron. Then we're going to go with Paula Verde.
Well, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, Paula Verde has some exciting news. If you're from Paula Verde, they're also one of those young teams, and their news is one of them is going to be they're going to switch leagues, Ron. They were always in the IVL. They are now going to join the Desert League. So they're not going to start off at the bottom of the totem pole. They got a good young team, Ron. And, you know, they want to be in the fight. Those are some of the things we're going to talk to Coach Wally about. And then we're going to end the night with the principal at Craig Lyons. One of the reasons we asked Craig, first of all, he's a great guy. Craig Lyons is just a great guy. Easy to talk to. He's a great interviewer. Everybody knows him around town, one of the nicest guys around, you know, on and off the field. But we're going to talk to Craig basically about the Imperial Valley Football Coaches Association, Ron, because of the COVID-19. Yeah, the Hall of Fame ceremony got canceled. So he's going to give us a little bit of information about that, Ron. And then we're going to jump into Thursday, and we're going to go with the legend, your buddy, Coach Swearingen, starting off at 7 o'clock with Coach Swearingen. And the guy's been around. He's a legend, Ron. You know that.
For sure. Good
buddy of yours. Then we're going to go next with one of the coaches. It's his sophomore year at a Southwest high school. First time I saw him, it was during Hell Week run. I went over there. You know, he showed up, you know, and I was just, you know, I sat back and I watched the practice. I really like his attitude. He had an aggressive attitude. I mean, this guy looked like a valiant. You know, I got, okay, this guy's coming from North Dakota, or I forgot where he was coming from, somewhere up there where it snowed and stuff all the time. And, you know, we're talking 110 plus degree weather. And this guy, you know, the heat didn't bother him. So he was coaching like a normal. So this is a sophomore year. He's at a terrific school at Southwest High School. I really like what he's doing over there. And, you know, I think he's ready to, okay, this is what this is about. He took his hits as a freshman, and now his sophomore year, he's ready to make some noise. He's also joining a new league, a new division, I should say, not a new league. He still will be in the IBL, but he will be in a different division, which is good news for him. And then, of course, another great person that we have all known around the football community, he's finally getting a hold of the reins. That's Coach David Shaw, the head coach for Imperial Tigers this year. And everybody that's been around, he's been with the Tigers before. He turned the program around in Calapat. He did a lot of great things. He's always been football involved, Ronnie. You've known him since he was his Pop Warner days, Ron. I mean, he's just a great guy all around, man.
Right.
And me and Ron also had the pleasure of talking with Victor Cruz last night. Now, let me tell you, that interview might be kind of the funnest one of them all tonight. We were just laughing last night of all the things that were football related, but they were off-field football related. We had a good time with them last night, Ron. So that's up to Thursday. And then on Friday, we're going to go with the head of the Football Officials Association. That's Seaman. And everybody knows John Seaman if you're a coach in Imperial Valley. And if you don't, I mean, you haven't been at the big games, because that guy's the one always wearing the white hat. Between him and Alan Phillips and the rest of the crew, we're going to talk about some issues that have been going on. There's a shortage of referees, Ron, for the last 2 years that's been going on. That's one of the issues we want to talk about. One of the other issues we want to talk with John Seaman about is he's taken a different path in the referee career path. He's doing a little bit of JUCO football refereeing. So he's from being in the middle as a head white hat at the high school level, he's actually, he's joining the ranks at the college level, doing a little bit of that. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some new rules about that. And then after John Seaman, we're going to go straight to Mr. Brawley Wildcat himself. That's John Self. Your boss, Ron. We're going to go to him.
My boss, John. There you go.
Yeah. So, and actually, we've been talking to John, quite a bit, especially when me and Ross started this VSN. We've developed, I think our relationship has gotten a lot better, in a sense where he's letting us in a lot more, is what I'm trying to say. He's letting the media in a lot more, and we're really enjoying it. I mean, me and Ron talk about a lot of it after we visit with them and after a game. So we really enjoy talking to Coach Self about that. Great guy. You're going to get to know a little bit of personality about him. We're going to make him laugh on Friday. So, and then we're going to end the night with back-to-back Bell champ. Back-to-back. Yeah, back. Yeah. And that's guy probably doesn't need introduction. I'm going to remind people, he is a Brawley grad. He's been a Brawley Wildcat. And he got inducted into the Hall of Fame as a Brawley Wildcat. Now he's taken the reins over down at Central, and he has turned that program around. Coach David Rookie Pena, and he's one of the good guys, Ron, as you know.
That's for sure.
One of the really good guys that has actually made a positive impact to Imperial Valley football. So we're excited for the lineup. Me and Ron, we had a great evening, about 2 hours just practicing with the Zoom with these people. Ron, take it from there. What do you think, buddy?
Well, the overall guest list is a who's who in Imperial Valley football and administrators. So we feel very proud to have these people on here, and I believe they're going to give insight to the fans out there. Everybody's dying for sports. Well, everybody's dying to get going during these times, and I'm pretty sure the opinions that these people have and the facts that you're going to hear from them will get your blood flowing. I mean, they're knowledgeable. So we came up with a list of people we thought that the Valley would like to hear, and I think we did a pretty good job of it. Now it's our job to get the information out of them. So that's our goal tonight. And one thing you did forget about Saturday's menu. Do you want to touch on that before I go on?
Well, Ron, go ahead and touch on that. That's actually a little good, exciting stuff, and it's kind of short because we're waiting on a time limit. But I'll go ahead, Ron. At Saturday at noon, guys, we're going to start off with Joseph Tarango, Central grad. He's going to Colorado State University in Pueblo. And then at 12:15, we're going to go with Casey Klein from Boise State. It's a second year there. I mean, this guy's put on some pounds. He couldn't even. Right. He couldn't even lift weights the last 2 years of high school because of the shoulder injury. This guy has put on some lbs, Ron. He is looking good. According to Doug, I want to see it for myself. He's in town, and it's going to be our privilege and Imperial Valley's privilege to talk to him. And then we're going to go to, to Nico Aguirre. Nico Aguirre just finished having a standout career in
Idaho State.
At Idaho State. He was a Bengal down there, and I got to see a lot of his highlights. The guy just brung it. But if I can go back to Nico's high school days, I remember refereeing a game, Ron, and he was a running back, and he got stuck out of bounds. He got stuck. And I remember reaching out to pick him up on the sidelines because it was one of those plays where, they needed to get back into the huddle. And I just remember looking into his eyes and seeing that focus, like, and we kind of know each other, but he was in that zone, Ron. We're like, hey, like when you pick him up, he just bounces up, Ron, and he just goes straight to the huddle. I mean, that's the type of player Nico was, man. That guy, I would put him in the same class as I would put a Zay Shepard, a Blake Zelani. I mean, just, one of those studs that played out of Brawley High School that was just fantastic players. I mean, it's a great lineup. I'm thrilled to have all these people that are on this list, and I'm glad my partner right here, Ron's with me, and I hope you all enjoy it. One thing we're not going to do is we do not have answers, and every administrator here, every coach here has told me the same thing. So if we happen to say something and you might misunderstand it, let me just clear it up. We do not know what the future holds in regards to start times. And if we happen to mention a date, I mean, it'd be totally wrong to say that we know or anybody here knows, because everything's changing by the day, by the week, by the hour. Things are just changing. We do not know. But I do know that every coach here is getting prepared like it's going to start on regular day. And then they got to be ready to go. That's one of the things that, they don't know. And we held this meeting. This meeting's been planned for over a month. I was talking with Coach Self, because he's a representative for the coaches down here in the Valley, Ron. And I was talking to Coach Self, and we were trying to hold this meeting on as long as possible because they've been having meetings. So, unfortunately, we decided, hey, let's go ahead and let's see what happens. But as soon as we know, I'm sure we'll let everybody else know. So with that said, to get the list, Ron, I say we get ready for Coach Bernard here for Mountain Empire.
Let's rock and roll.
After Ronnie and I talked to you yesterday, we really had a good time yesterday, Coach. We had that feeling like we've known each other for a long time. It was a good conversation last night, Coach.
I felt like that too. I felt real good about that.
And it was like I told you last night, it's a pleasure to get to see you. I mean, it's via Zoom, but it is what it is, man.
Yeah.
So some of the questions we have for you that we want the audience to know, and how did the guy from Chicago end up at Mount Empire?
Well, I got here in San Diego, through the military, and I started coaching football. I've coached at Bishop's, Country Day, El Cajon Valley, and Helix, and I was leaving Helix, and I was really looking for a chance to be a head coach. So I was looking around, and I saw Mountain Empire was looking, so I applied, interviewed, got the job.
Now, am I correct? This is your 5th year here, Coach, at playing for the Red Hawks, coaching the Red Hawks?
Yeah, this upcoming season will be the 6th year.
Will be the 6th year. Cool.
Yep.
Cool. Now, one of the things, you are also the representative for the newly named team, the Desert League, that was the old Manzanita League. Is that correct? You're the representative?
Yeah, well, I'm the Southern Section rep, so yeah, I guess so.
Okay, and what I wanted to find out, that part was, before you came on, I was letting the people know, CIF Southern Section, San Diego Southern Section does not know a start date. Is that correct, Coach?
Yes.
So, and there's still meetings are up and coming. Are they scheduled? Is that what's going on, Coach?
Yeah, we're having meetings, and we're just throwing out scenarios, like if we were to start in October, if we were to start, in November. It's just scenarios going out so we can be prepared for when things do start up.
Well, that's one of the things, because I think when they I was mentioning earlier, when they do start, they're going to say, hey, guys, go. You got a game in 2 weeks, get ready.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I think that's what might happen, Coach. I mean, hopefully everything gets started on a day at a time, but, those are the things we don't know. So there's really just want to let the people know we don't know yet. So there's really no answer to those type of questions. So
That's correct.
With that said, Coach Ron right here has some questions about your team he'd like to speak to you about.
Sure thing.
Hey, Coach Bernard, how are things going today, man?
Good. How about you?
We're doing good, Coach. Just to let the people here in the Valley know, I mean, yeah, you play Hopeville, but last year you had a little tough season. You went 2-10 last year. What's the makeup of your team this year, Coach? Are you heavy with seniors, juniors, sophomores? What's the makeup of your football team as far as what it's composed of?
This year, we'll have a pretty good balance with the seniors and juniors. Last year, we were short a lot of seniors. We had less than 5 seniors on the team. And, and we were really young. And, we took our lumps. We had a real good off season. It was going really, really well until we stopped. I would say it was probably our best off season so far. And, we're hoping things work out because we're really ready to get at it, because we want to make up for that last year,
Well, Coach, that's a good thing to hear. If you feel in the off season you're getting a good feel for your players, or you think something good, usually good things happen from that, and that's a result of having a tough season last year, man. You're playing with 5 seniors last year. When you're a junior and you're taking the knocks in a hard game, you're looking for that senior leadership, man. If you ain't got it, well, then that's something you're going to deal with maybe next year. But it sounds like you got things going the right way, Coach. Now, since we know what your team is made up of, Coach, what kind of offense do you run for those of people who don't know what you run? Is it veer? I mean, what label do you guys have?
We run spread shotgun.
All right, cool.
West Coast.
Spread shotgun. Spread shotgun. Hey, man, that's the trend. Spread shotgun. You do that.
Just
Coach,
sling it, huh? You're a gunslinger, huh, Coach?
Well, we try to be balanced. Okay. I like to throw. Everybody likes to throw, right? But we do try to be balanced, and we use multiple formations to do that. Motion shifts, and we try to keep it, 50-50. We try.
As all football coaches try to do, say 50-50. That's right. Coach, do you have everybody wants to know, is your quarterback a returning quarterback, or is it somebody that's taking new snaps as a first year as a varsity quarterback?
He is a returning quarterback. He was second team all league.
Wow.
And as I said, he went just along with the team. It was an up and down season for him. He had really great games, and he had some games that were not so great, So I'm expecting a lot of him this year.
Right. When you're expecting a lot out of your skilled players, do you have an offensive line to help them get to them expectations?
I'm pretty happy about our offensive line. Our offensive line were all sophomores last year, except 2 guys.
Oh, yes. Okay.
So, I'm really happy about the O-line, yes.
Well, that's pretty good news. I know guys like Will Torres over there on top of you there. He loved to play against. He's a defensive end. He loved playing against sophomore linemen. Right, Will?
Yeah, he'd be mistaken where he says everybody likes to throw. Heck no, I was more of a running guy. I don't, that throwing stuff, well, I'm 56 years old back in the day, though. So that's when it was all, when they said you were a passing team, Coach, that's when they said that you threw the ball maybe 10 times a game. You were,
There you go. Well, Coach Bad,
it's like John Self calls it. John sells it, hey, I run the ball because I want to control the ball. And that's a good philosophy if you ask me.
Yeah.
Coach, one thing before it's my turn to pass on to Will. Now, your defense, how's your defense? What kind of defense you run? A 4-3, 5-3-2? What do you got there? Anything special?
We run a 4-4. Coach Ricky Prince is our defensive coordinator. And he's been my coordinator since 2016, my second year. And he's done a really good job, I think.
Yeah, well, The 4-4. Well, we used to run a 4-4 stack. I was a defensive coordinator. That was my first job with Mike Swearingen. And man, the funny thing about the 4-4 here in Brawley was you had to have a stockpile of linebackers because we blitzed a lot, inside, outside, dogs, flyers. But once you start getting hurt, man, we was back to a 5-2, 5-3 run.
Right.
You run out. You run out. So being at Mount Empire, you might see that. Well, that's good to hear, Coach. I mean, I like the way you sound about your team. You took your lumps last year. Believe me, I've been on coaching staff where you have those kind of seasons, but it's part of the building process. And I sure hope you have a good 2020 season once it does happen. And I think Mount Empire has a very good leader in them, Will. So.
Yeah, no, that's we expect to see.
Thank you, Coach.
And we expect to see you down here a couple of times. And talking about expecting to see you down here, who are some of the players to watch out for in your 2020 campaign, Coach?
I have a couple seniors I think are some players to watch out for. I'm expecting some big things from them, leadership wise and on the field. Zane Higuera, our quarterback Khalil Whitehead, Aiden Hamada. He was our defensive player of the year. Ephraim Penuelas, and of course Marcus Smith. And I'm sure everybody in our league that knows him because that's our go-to guy. And I mean, I'm not going to hide it. Everybody that plays us knows that. That's our guy. That's our guy.
I like the way that you mention your players like that. Coach, what size of squad, when I'm talking numbers, are you looking to field this year? And now, do you guys field the whole, or do you have a frosh soft, or do you field the whole 3 levels?
Yeah, we got to do the frosh soft thing. We have a JV, and it's mostly freshmen, and then we get some sophomores on there. Varsity. Last year, I believe we had about 28 to 30 guys. That's probably the most I've had since I've been there, and I expect those numbers again, if not a few more.
And like you said, those were mostly underclassmen, correct, Coach?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, Coach, man, it was a pleasure talking to you yesterday off the record. We really had a blast. Thank you for joining us again today, and definitely you're going to see us, out in the field. Hope. Personally, I'd like to see that carnival go back up there. It was before your time, but I'd like to see that summer carnival go back out to Mount Empire,
right.
Heat down here.
I had it going on for the first 2 years, but then we were invited to the Kickoff Classic like my 3rd year. So I've been doing that since, going to that Kickoff Classic. Well,
good, man. Definitely. If we're on the same field, Coach, we're going to stop by and say hello to you, man, and just talk about what's going on with you, man, because I think the chemistry between VSN and you and the Red Hawks. I mean, we're starting something new here, Coach. So, hope we're a part of it in the future.
That would be great. I would really enjoy that, and that's something the school needs. That would be awesome.
All right, Coach. Well, like I said, we'll talk to you later. And we'll be talking soon, Coach and Ronnie and I, and best of luck this season, Coach.
All right. Thank you very much. You guys
take care, Coach.
Take care, brother. Good seeing
and we'll
you.
be right back after this break. Welcome back, everybody, and thank you for joining us live here with VSN Zoom. To my left right here is my co-host, my partner, my broadcast go-to guy, Mr. Ron Rubio, and joining us from Hopeville, California, Coach Jason Turner. Before I let him speak and introduce himself, I just want to say a couple of words about Coach Jason Turner. I was telling Ron just earlier today, me and you spoke earlier about some of the things we might go over, and I was telling Ron, every time I talk to Jason Turner, I like that guy a little bit more, because we talked in depth a little bit today. You know what I mean, Coach?
Yeah.
And I get it. You get a guy 2 years ago that comes up to you and wants to interview you. You don't got much to say. I get that. I remember when we first met, I go, okay, you know what, but every time I've talked to you, I've really appreciated you taking your time out to give us a little bit of your time, give us a little bit of your players, and showcase them a little bit, So, without any more introductions, I like to introduce Coach Jason Turner of the Hopeville Vikings. Coach?
Yeah. Thank you, Will. Thank you for those words. And I think the feeling's mutual. I like you a little bit more every time I meet you, too.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Well, Coach, one of the things we're going to talk about, let's start in with last year's season. Okay. So, when we get into last year's season, one of the things we were talking about earlier, Coach, is most of the coaches, when they start a program, it's always that key word, that rebuild. That we're getting a coach in, we're going to rebuild. Coach, you paid your dues. This is your year. This is your year that you kids that started when they were 7th and 8th graders and they were freshmen. This is what you were hoping to be your year right here, correct?
That's right. Yeah, this is most of these kids I've been coaching since they were 6 and 7 years old. So this senior class is actually the first Pop Warner team that I ever coached when they were 6, 7 years old. So this is our year, and this is my 4th year. So this is, there's no more Coach Smith. These are my boys here.
Yeah, this is the program that you took over when the underclassmen. Yeah,
that's right.
One of the things I was telling Ron that I don't know if he was aware of, but I don't think I mentioned it to Ron, I should say, you also double duties. He also does a passing league. He coaches the 7th and 8th grade passing league. And that's one of the things he does with the youth football, Ron. He actually goes to those lower levels to influence kids to play sports, to stay in the program down here. And those are the kind of things that you kind of have to do in a small community, right, Coach?
That's right. It was a couple of years ago that Coach Rookie Pena and some other school districts, they said, hey, you know what? Instead of boys softball in middle school, let's do a flag football league. And so I took that opportunity to go down immediately and volunteer to coach so that I'm able to access those kids and to get to know them, because I know that investment down there is going to pay off up here, and slowly but surely it has.
Yeah, well, one of the investments that you have in this team right here, you stepped up on your schedule. First game of the league is going to be against Southwest El Centro. Yeah. And you also have Imperial again. This will be your 3rd year that under your reigns that you will be playing Imperial. Now, Ronnie and we were at the game last year, and as I mentioned to you earlier, I know that the score was 6-0 Imperial at halftime, and you kind of, I don't know if you took Imperial by surprise or what, but you were only inches away from that score being, maybe 14-6 at halftime, Coach.
Yeah. Yeah, our biggest competition this past year was ourselves. In a lot of ways, was ourselves. But as you and I hit on earlier, Imperial has been a blessing to sign those guys for that first 2 years. That first year we went there 2 years ago, Coach Laguerra, they thumped us pretty good. It was like 49-0. And then this past year, like you said, it was 6-0 at halftime. So that it's kind of it sets the bar for us. Are we getting better? And but I just felt like we absolutely, the only way for us to get better is we've got to take on better competition, and Imperial is definitely better competition. So it was just ironic. Growing up, they were like your Central, you're from Raleigh.
Right.
For us, Imperial's always been our enemy, if you will, on the football field. But now that we come back all these years later, they've been a blessing to us by signing a contract to play us. So they've helped us a lot, and we're grateful for that. Yeah.
Well, I think Ron can touch on that when and during his coaching years down here in Brawley, how Brawley used to play those D2 when Brawley was in Division III. Ron, if you want to touch on that, I mean, what he's going through right now, Hopeville's going through. Brawley used to do the same thing and still does the same thing. I mean, that was their philosophy, right, Ron?
Right. Well, you know what, Jason? Last year when we did the game, I was with Murray Anderson, and Coach, I got the feeling as the game was progressing, you guys came on strong, started out strong. I really got the vibe. That's how Brawley was when El Centro was dominating us. That's how we clawed. Like you said, they set the bar. How do we get to our rival? How do we get to the heights they're at right now? We're at this, low point of our program, and the only way you could do it, I admire what you said, man, is to play better competition. If we had to beat El Centro, we had to play our best football. And I saw that in the Vikings that day, Will, that night, last year, 6-0 at halftime. And physically, you could tell, hey, Imperial's a bigger team. They're stronger. They look faster. Here's Hopeville. Hopeville was brawling, man. I mean, really, honest to God, that's how I felt. So as an announcer, I saw that, but as a coach, I also felt that. And I also saw the fight in your team, man, your sideline. The behavior on your sidelines was magnificent. And, I can relate to being like that, to being in your shoes, Coach. Your players respond to you and to your assistant coaches, I can see. So, the only way to get better is to play better teams. And I like your attitude towards that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. It helps across the board because as a coaching staff, we have to prepare better. The players, they absolutely have to play better. And we have to coach as coaches. I know that sounds dumb, but we actually have to coach. And so all that makes us better all around. So I agree with you, Coach.
Well, another thing, Jason, what I liked about your team last year, sure, you guys were smaller than Imperial because that was the only game that I got to see live and got the feel of the game live, watching what was going on there. What I liked is how, I don't know who made it. It must have been your decision, but at halftime, I think you pulled your quarterback and you put in number 22. I think that's it. I only know him by number, and I seen him in passing league, and I kid you not, I told the guys in Brawley, check out frickin' baby Roethlisberger over there. Watch it. I'm not kidding you. Against Gila Ridge, I seen him throw, I'm not kidding you, 40-yard bombs into the end zone. Back to the end zone completions, dude. I saw 2 of them, Will, on passing league. And I said to John Self, I'm glad we're not playing that dude in passing league. I don't know the kid's name, but I think he's a returner. He has to be a returner, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he was, his name's Spencer Hilfiger. He's
That's him.
Yeah, he was a sophomore this year. So.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he'll be back, and that was a transition for us. You caught that. It was a transition for us to go from the senior guy that's been there the year before, then this sophomore, and then from that halftime on, he became our quarterback. And I know it doesn't mean much, but there were some games we were spotting 60 last year. And so I was telling Will earlier that our whole entire offense is returning this year. So
that's great.
We're looking forward to it.
Well, Coach, let me tell you something. Your running back, I'm not sure of his name,
Jose.
but if you have Jose,
Kid's a stud.
I thought he was a senior, and let me tell you, he ran his butt off. When I was a running back, and I remember playing against higher competition. Man, when you got that ball and you didn't have any blocking on that first line, the front line, all those yards were yours. And that kid, I think he was even hurt that game. And he was a warrior, man. So if you got that kid and you got 22, Hilfiger coming back, Coach, I see nothing but good things happening for the Hopeville Vikings. Look out, Desert League.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, Ronnie, one of the things he's losing, I believe he's losing 3 seniors, and they're all on defense. So he's getting an experienced senior class team. So that's one of the things that's why COVID-19 came in and kind of bummed him out a little bit. But it might have bummed him out, slowed him down, but it's not stopping him. I can guarantee you that. And I mean, Hopeville Vikings, there's that tradition. There's that tradition that still lives strong because the people from Hopeville, first of all, they're loyal to their Vikings. I can guarantee you that, man. We went to that wrestling and we did that live cast there. And then, you know, even if it's basketball, even if it's girls basketball, they're very loyal to their Hopeville Vikings. It's the same people that go to those games every time. So just that attitude Hopeville Vikings has. It's just one of those great hometown good feelings. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
well, let me tell you one thing before you let Jason go. Let me tell you something, Jason. One thing, and I was talking to Murray about Murray Anderson. I love that tradition. I was going, what the heck is going on in that end zone? What's going on in that end zone over there on the west end? There's people with lawn chairs and kids. I mean, that was really, really cool. I mean, who has that? I've never seen that in any high school stadiums in my whole life that I've been coaching. Never seen
but
it.
You know it's you guys or you, and then Imperial have told us, you know, Imperial fans, they kind of said the same thing. But, you know, the smaller schools that we play, they're accustomed to seeing us do that, like to sit out there. It was there before I got there, but it was really nice and real relaxed. It's a nice setting. Yeah, absolutely.
Very good. Well, I like what's going down in Hopeville. I love that idea of the middle school deal I've been part of. I was helping the barber work here at Brawley High. I was part of that. And I thought that's the greatest thing. This passing 7-on-7 thing is the greatest thing for kids right now. I love it. You know, I think that's where kids can progress as skilled players, quarterbacks, receivers. Yeah, too bad for the linemen, but guess what? You throw in a big kid over there, let him run a 5 and out, makes him feel like Odell Beckham. So, you know, dudes like you and rookies coming up with ideas like that, promoting it in the Valley, that's what we have to do, man, to promote this wonderful sport that we've been blessed with. And it's great to have you part of it, Jason Turner. So just keep going, man.
Thank you.
You got it.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, really appreciate your time, Jason. And not only that, I appreciate, like I told you earlier, I appreciate you taking time during your practice, after practice, giving us the opportunity to talk to some kids, showcase some kids via VSN. And we hope to continue that relationship, and not just with you, but, you know, we want to do it with every high school around here. I mean, we're looking for bigger things every year, you know. We really stepped it up this year. And we're just like you, the rest of the coaches from Kerr Valley. We're not going to let COVID-19 slow us down. As soon as they say give us the green light, coach, we're going to be rolling with it, man. You're going to see us out there, you know, wanting to talk to you, wanting to talk to your kids, and showcasing them as much as we can.
Well, thank you for what you guys do. We appreciate it.
So with that said, I appreciate your time and hope to see you. We will see you at the carnival. Hopefully it's the carnival when we see each other. And I will get another chance to wish you the best of luck for 2020. But just in case, Coach, man, best of luck, man. I'll see you out there in the football field, man. Thanks again. Have a nice evening, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
VSN, we'll be right back after these messages from our great sponsors. back, everybody, to VSN. Our next guest is a Central graduate, and I believe he's 1984, Doug. Is that correct?
That's correct, Will.
1984. He was a sophomore when I was a senior. I remember him well. Quarterback now he is in the north end of the valley. And as far as I can remember, Doug Klein has always been the superintendent of Calipatria Unified School District. And it's not just the superintendent part. I mean, when I was talking to Doug earlier, he's also delivering lunches right now to all the kids in Bombay Beach, whether it's the Slabs, whether it's Nyland. That's one of the great things that Mr. Doug Klein does. And, you know, I'm glad to be associated with him. I'm glad to call him a friend of mine, and really appreciate him giving a little bit of his time. One of the fun facts about Doug that I'll let you guys know, he's also one of the longest tenured superintendents in Imperial Valley. That he is, but he's also the top 10 in the state of California, where Ron, as we're used to seeing, you know, when we get a superintendent in some of these schools right here, okay, well, he was a superintendent at a school, and, you know, they come down here for 4 to 6 years, and then they leave. And then we get another one that was a superintendent. Doug is not one of those guys. I can honestly say Doug's been there. He's been there a long time, and that's just in itself is a pat on the back, and congratulations on that achievement, Doug.
I appreciate that, Will. You know, I've been in the district for 21 years now. 1999, I got to Calipat. Actually, I got to Nyland. I was principal of the school at Nyland for 6 years. And then when Mr. Hanks was the superintendent, he retired, and I got that position 14 years ago. So in the Imperial Valley, at one district, I'm the longest tenured, 14 years. I'm not the longest tenured superintendent in the Valley. I think it goes to John Ledoux. But at one district, I am definitely the longest. And so, you know, I found a home in Calipat, love the people, love the community, and there's a lot of good work up there, and I enjoy doing it. You know, Will, let's real quick, Will, I'm going to refresh your memory.
Okay.
My sophomore year, I was not the quarterback. I was the fullback. And my job at Central was to kick out the defensive end on our power runs off tackle. And I used to tell the coach, quit running the 54 power to Will Torres. Quit running that.
Don't say that.
Run it the other way.
What, you couldn't catch me? I was running the other way or what?
No, I was telling the coach, run it the other way, run it to the left side where Miranda was, because I could kick that guy out, but I couldn't.
Good one. Kicking out George Miranda. I like that. I love it.
But anyway, no, it was always a collision when I hit you, Will. I'll never forget that. My dad used to tell me that. He goes, man, he ran that 54 power. You'd hit that Will Torres, and you would go nowhere. And I enjoyed those days, though, Will. It really was a lot of fun.
Now, that's what makes it fun, the conversations that we have off the field in years back. We were talking to Craig Lyons about that, huh, Ron? And
yes,
so, it's good conversations, man. It's good conversations because it just brings back good memories. You know, those were fun times at those time and age. Everything was so intense. I mean, you know, high scoring game was what, 14 to 13, 13 to 10. Yeah.
I played 3 bell games. It ended up 14 to 7, 14 to 7, and 8 to 6.
Okay, but how many of those did you win?
I won 0, Will.
Just thought I'd mention that there, Doug.
So I don't have to worry about you asking me how many bell games I won.
Hey, well, according to Craig Lyons, you can go in his office and ring the bell. That's what he was telling us yesterday.
You're real proud of that.
Yeah, he was real proud to say that.
The first time I saw the bell was in a picture about 20 years afterwards. I said, "Oh, that's what the bell looks like."
Well,
but anyway, hey, Will, that bell game though is special, and it's definitely the biggest game in California. And every year.
Yeah, I could tell you one thing, Doug. You got Ronnie to the left of me, and you got you underneath you. We both have had the privilege, the honor, and the pride to have our kids play in that game.
Right.
And there's a lot of people out there that have done the same thing, and they can relate to this, Doug and Ronnie. I mean, Ronnie's had 2 kids play up there, and it's just, it's different watching your kid. I personally, I wanted to be alone when I saw my kid play. I just wanted to be left alone because I actually wanted just to focus. It couldn't be like a regular bell game. It was just different. So, I mean, there's three of us we relate to, and there's a lot of other people we can relate to it. So that's one of the good things about, being a part of that history right there, Doug.
Yep, you're definitely right. And as fathers, we get to kind of relive a little bit. And that intensity, I know what you're talking about by being alone, because the intensity so much. I think even more so with watching your kids play in that ball game, because I know the pain of defeat, and that's the last thing I wanted for my kid.
Well, let me see if I'm right. I didn't lose any, and my kid didn't lose any. So how many did you win, Doug?
0.
You always got to throw that. Ron?
Well, Will, I was hoping you'd lay off that stuff right now, because, we can't as Wildcats talk too much trash. 0-3 in the last 3 years.
Listen.
And anyhow, Doug, good to see you, man. Good seeing you.
Yeah, it is good seeing you too, Ron. Hey, but the good thing is I love that the rivalry is back. And that's big for the Imperial Valley. It's the longest running rivalry probably for sure in the Imperial Valley, one of the longest in California. And it was even recognized by Sports Illustrated after the 150th contest, which was about 15 years ago. So, the history's there, and that's what makes the game so special. Is it's a generational game. It's culture infused, that it's year after year, generation after generation. The grandfathers talk about the bell game that they played in, and the fathers, and now the kids, and then they're going to be talking about their kids. And that's what makes it special.
It does make it special, and year after year, people can relate to that. Which is one of the good things. On Saturday, we'll be talking to Casey Klein. That's going to be a privilege.
Yeah.
We've had him as a halftime guest at a Brawley game. He's very good to talk to. And me and Ron were talking earlier about how much weight. You were telling us how much muscle he has put on, because he didn't get a chance to weight lift those last 2 years when he was at Brawley.
No, none, no upper body. So it's nice to see him. He's hovering about 240 right now, and that's weight for him. And they'll beef him up a little bit more, but he's got room to grow. So that's good. You don't want to see him get too thick, because they kind of lose their speed. But he's long, and he can carry the weight well. So I'm excited for him. He's moving in the right direction.
I think we're all excited. I think Imperial Valley's excited, Doug. And, he's on this side of the country where we're going to be able to see him play. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be exciting times. So we look forward to talking to him on Saturday. So,
and then, they got a game with San Diego State in 2 years. So that'll be nice in San Diego. So we can get some people to go see him.
Oh, definitely. We'll make a big deal out of that one. Well, one of the things one of the reasons that we wanted to have you on here, Doug, Calapat right now is in a situation where they don't have a football head coach right now. So is the application open right now, Doug, or what's going on with that?
The application closed, but it didn't officially close. We ran it for 2 weeks, but we've gotten a couple applicants in the last week that we accepted. So we got a pool of 5 applicants now, and we got some quality applicants, and I'm excited. It's been a challenge in Calapat with football ever since Shaw left. Shaw brought that enthusiasm, and we've kind of had a merry-go-round of coaches during that time. They gave it their best, and it's just hard when you don't have that cultural history that we talked about earlier, where generation after generation, you play for your high school. Well, it's basically been a basketball community for many, many years, and they excel. So it's a challenge, but these kids are great kids, and they work hard, and we're looking for a leader right now. And I don't really want a Band-Aid. I kind of want somebody that we can get some commitment out of it for a couple of years and help build that program. And I got a good staff right now at the junior high, and I think that's the key. We got to develop these kids in junior high school, so when they get to the high school, they have every advantage. A big thing about Central and Brawley, the difference between Central, Brawley, and Calapat is one of the big differences is the Pop Warner programs, which are, very, very active in Brawley and El Centro and Mid-Valley. And you see those kids developing skills at a younger age, and they get to the high school level, those are things you don't have to teach them. You don't have to teach them about angles. You don't have to teach them about tackling form and keeping your elbows in. You know, those are things that we're having to teach day one at Calipat. And so it makes the learning curve a little bit longer than most. So, you know, I still believe the key is getting that going in the junior high level. Even if we don't have Pop Warner, the fact that they're adding flag football now to the junior high, that's definitely going to help. So we're looking forward to the future. We got great facilities. You know that, Will.
Yes, yes.
You know, we spent $11 million developing our athletic facilities. And there was a purpose, and that purpose was to create an environment for athletics to succeed. And so we just got to get the right people in there coaching these kids, because we got the right kids.
No, walking into that stadium, I just, you know, I've always been in that stadium since it was built as a referee on the field. And now when we went to go cover some games for highlights in Calipat, I got a chance to sit in the stands. That home field, right? I mean, that's a pretty steep stairs there, Doug, you know.
Yeah.
But there is no bad seat on the home side right there, Doug.
You know, I caught a lot of grief over those bleachers, but I wanted bleachers that were vertical, that made you feel like you were over the field. And, you know, there was concerns right off the bat that are too steep, they're too steep. But once people get to those stadiums and have a seat in those stadiums, the complaints stop, because the view is spectacular.
Yeah. Doug, Ronnie's going to ask you some questions, and we want to know what your senior class is going to look like this coming up year and stuff like that.
Well, we'll be young. We don't have a big senior class. You know, coming up, I do see we have some athletic freshmen and sophomores that it's going to be fun. And we definitely have an athletic junior high. So, you know, that's why I kind of saw those numbers coming up, and I said, really, we need to get somebody established in that junior high as a PE teacher. Now, Will, there's one thing that hasn't come out yet about that coaching job for Calipat is we only posted a football coaching job, but as of tonight, I believe there's going to be an announcement from Central Union High School that they are taking one of our PE teachers, which opens up a PE position at Calipat. So that really that'll entice some coaches, I believe. And we're not going to hold back any late applicants that want to come in, and when they hear about a PE job, I mean, this thing is open. We're looking for a special person. They have to relate to kids. It's not an X's and O's program. You got to really relate to those kids, get those kids to buy into the system, and then you teach them X's and O's. We've had some great X's and O's coaches over the last 5 years. We really have. It was just getting those kids. Very few, you know, I guess Swearingen kudos. He really went out and tried to find those kids, and you got to have a little Mother Teresa in you. Right. And Swearingen definitely had a little Mother Teresa in him. So that's the coach I'm looking for. I'm looking for that coach that loves football, but's got a little Mother Teresa in her, that in him, that he can go out there, reach for those kids, and fight for the underdogs. I mean, that's one of the things I really enjoy about Calipat is, you know, trying to fight for the underdog. Let's see what we can make out of this.
Well, you know what, Coach? Let me tell you something, Doug. You know, I was my first year coaching high school. I came in with Swearingen at Brawley High, and you know, it was a shock to me that we were talking about rebuilding Brawley football. You know, Will and I were part of successful programs. We were coming in from Coach Cato. Coach Cato was leaving. Coach Mike was coming in. I don't envy your position, Doug. It's a tough road you're going to have to get on and drive through. But if you get the right guy, and it sounds to me, you know what you want, man. Get what you want and don't settle. I know that's what you don't want. That's what you want to do. Like you said, football coaches nowadays, it's not black and white like it used to be. There's a lot of gray area. Kids are being raised differently. They're coming from different homes than we came from. And like you said, Matt, I hope to God you find that person. Why? Because Calipatria, man, we need a good, solid program in there. We would love that competition. It was when I believe it or not, Doug, when I was in 7th grade, there was a Pop Warner team in Calipat. I forgot their name, but there was a guy named John Cook from Calipatria. He brought kids from Brawley High, 8th graders. And I was going, God dang, how can I get on that team? They were kicking everybody's butt, this Pop Warner team. Will may have heard of them. However, Those days are gone. But now the task at hand, it's something very tough that I want people to know what you have to go through. It's going to be tough at Calapat, and you know it.
We're now in that league. They got Palo Verde moved down to our league, so
Yeah.
So we have basically Hopeville, Vincent Memorial, Palo Verde, Mountain Empire, and Calapat. So there's some tough teams right there.
You got some tough teams, but let me tell you, what I've seen of Calapat in the last 2 seasons, there's something there, man. That's the good. To me, that's the part. There's something there. You just got to tap it right and have the right person tapping it. And like you said, these kids are learning the fundamentals from day one. Hey, there's talent there. Basketball players make football players.
Yeah, I'll tell you something too. The one thing I always tell the coaches when they come in is they may not know X's and O's, but the one thing you can always say about Calapat is we got speed. You can always find speed. And you can't teach speed. You can't teach that speed.
No.
Yeah, so the potential's there. It really is.
I think so.
So, the future is it can only be brighter.
That's exactly right, brother.
We tackle it every year. We've made some good hires in all the sports. I feel really confident about our baseball program. I think our softball program is in the right direction. We got a solid basketball program, obviously, and girls volleyball has been strong the last couple of years. So we're anxious. We need to get that right guy in there for the right guy or girl for those that football team. I don't want to single anybody out. You never know. But anyway, we need the right person, and I'm confident. I really am. Looking at some of those applicants, there was a guy that came in late that has done a lot of coaching in the San Diego area, and been at some big schools, and relocating to the Valley, and he could be a diamond in the rough. You never know.
There you go.
I think the key is having that PE position open, Coach. That's really going to help. And we'll leave Craig Lyons. See, we got him on tomorrow, so we'll let Craig Lyons make that announcement here. I mean, I don't know if he's going to announce it before, but
we don't want to jump the gun a little bit.
Yeah, we don't want to jump the gun. We'll let Craig do that. And I want to go back on something you said earlier when you called. I love Coach Swearingen. I truly love him to death. But he was no Mother Teresa back in the 80s. That guy ran our asses off up and down that field. So I don't know where that Mother Teresa came from.
Well, no, he softened at his age, Will. Come on.
Yeah, Will, come on. We're all getting soft.
I actually love the guy. And he's just – the guy's just full of spirit, So he's one of – he's like we call him a legend down here,
I have nothing but respect for Coach Swearingen. So,
he falls in that class with Coach Cato and all the love we have for all of them coaches, Yep. So, well, Doug, do we have an answer for a date when you will make that decision, Doug?
I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna take the COVID-19 answer, which is we're gonna have to wait and see a little bit.
Right.
I'm waiting for June 1 to come around because we're gonna make a lot of educational decisions come June 1, and next year, guys. It's just hard to say what's going to happen next year. And, I'm in weekly meetings with all the superintendents, and we really don't have any direction yet. And it's going to be based on Dr. Love, the county health department head guy. We're going to follow their guidelines. As soon as we can get kids back to school, the better off we are. I'm telling you right now, athletics aside, I need those kids back in school. We miss so much, and you don't really realize it until you have a situation like this where you have to get the kids out of the school. And I'm fearful of the area that we live a lot of those kids. We have our top 20, 30% who don't miss a beat. But it's the 70 to 60% of those kids that need that support that they get from school. They get that familiar surrounding. They get the support from their teachers. They get the love from their staff, and they're missing that. And so, let's all pray that we get back to school real soon, that the scientists keep developing a vaccine for this thing, and we get back to somewhat normal. And normal will always be a little different now. So,
that's true.
But we can adapt.
That's right.
Yeah. Doug, great interview. Pleasure to talk to you. It's always to go back in history and reminisce a little bit. And I'm glad to call you a friend of mine. And we, of course, you know that we wish the best for Casey and your whole family. And you know, we plan to see him. And we hope you do find that diamond in the rough, and hope we want VSN to be part of that Calapat football. And we had the privilege to visit Calexico when they played that playoff game against Calapat down there in Calexico, and they brought the Hornets' nest. I mean, they traveled all the way down south. Let me tell you, that was fun atmosphere between that Calexico and the Calapat basketball playoff
Hornets,
game.
They'll travel. You give them something to look at, they'll travel. That's the case in Calapat. They will travel. Hey guys, it was great talking to both of you, and I wish the best to you. And I consider you guys my friends, and we'll always have a close relationship. So whatever you need from me, you let me know.
I appreciate it. Appreciate the past years. Hey, peace out. Thank you, Doug. Appreciate that, man.
Take care, brother.
And VSN will be right back with the wild one, Gilly Rebelart. Welcome back, everybody, to VSN. Alongside me is my partner, my buddy, my friend, my old teammate, and my broadcast go-to guy, Mr. Ron Rubio. And our guest for the evening to end the night is Mr. Wild One, Gil Rebelart.
Wow.
When I call him the Wild One, there's a reason why I call him the Wild One. There's a reason we actually asked him to come on and interview with us. Gilly was telling us a story, you know, yesterday or a couple of days ago, is that the type of student that he was, and one of the things that kept him, you know, in that straight line and kept him committed to school was Coach Bishop and the discipline that was installed in a football program that kept them in a straight line. So right here we have a former player that was going down the wrong path, that, you know, he looked at football and that's one, and like I was saying earlier, those were one of the things I can relate to Gilly about that. And when you look at the things that Gilly has achieved and he's involved in right now, the kid is going 100 miles an hour right now. So we want to congratulate him. So at the present time, Gilly, did you finish your master's? Did you end up getting your master's?
Yeah, I got my master's and my bachelor. Like you said, I worked, went to a school board meeting right now, came straight home right after the meeting and joined you guys. Yeah, I'm on the go. You know, like you said, you know, when I was younger, I knew what it was like to do bad. So now I try to do good. Because if I ain't doing something good, I'll be doing something bad. So
it's his first year being on the Brawley Elementary School Board District, and he's also involved in the county. What are your duties as on the county board? There's actually 2 boards you're on. Is that correct, Gilly?
No, I just one board, and then I work for the county. But I can't let that intro about Coach Bishop go to waste, man. No, you're right. I got, like I said, I have my college degrees, but I almost didn't graduate. Like I told you, I almost didn't graduate high school. Out of all the classes I failed, it was English. I do nothing but read. I got books. I got a bookshelf. I got bookshelves of all the books I've read in the past few years. I constantly read. I constantly write. I constantly speak. So for me to fail English, I think showed my laziness, my kind of going down that bad path. Like I said, great parents. Obviously, it always in the back of my head. I knew what was right and wrong, but that wild streak in me kind of, tuned it out. And so, yeah, I almost didn't graduate. I take a class in the second semester of my senior year, or I wouldn't have walked. But, the one place where I knew how to act right, I had to give it my all, I had to work hard, was football. Sports, too. I mean, sports in general. I played other sports, but football, from junior high, waking up at 6 in the morning to go weightlift day in, day out. Summer, Hell Week, the passing league, Bishop, Coach Bishop, who I am today, I owe a lot to Bishop. I could told you, I still wake up at 6 o'clock, Monday through Sunday. I don't even need an alarm at this point. I just automatically wake up, which gives me a head start on the day, allows me to, I think that's why I'm able to do so much, is because I wake up early and I get things done, and that's something I learned from Brawley football. I mean, Coach Bishop, I don't say he made a man. He made everyone in that program at BUHS under his, and even Coach South. I'm not trying to say it was every coach in that program. They made great human being citizens, from the players to the water managers, the water girls, to the ball boys. To see ball boys that were, were small, and I see them rise up and become football players in the program, and they go on to success. Yeah. I mean, it's just a testament to what the whole program in itself does for our community. I mean, I owe so much to Coach Bishop and the Brawley football program for who I am today. And you're right, it's an amazing program, amazing thing. Also, like Friday nights, you don't get that. Where else can you get families coming together to watch sports? What it does for the community is beyond words, and sometimes we forget about it. Sometimes I think we take it for granted, but when you look back and see all the great things that come from Brawley football and Brawley sports in the high school, it's really amazing. It's really amazing.
Well, me and Ron have had the opportunity to actually see the other side of it. Ron, of course, has been, coaching down here in Brawley for, almost 30 years or close to 30 years. But, with the relationship we have started with these, Ron and I have started with these coaches from Calexico, the John Moreno and the Vic Carrillo, which I've known them for years prior, but, we've kept in touch. And, Jason Turner, like I was saying earlier in the broadcast, every time I talk to Coach Jason, man, I just seem to like him a little bit more. We talked off record a little bit, and we talked about the real things that really go on, the struggles. There's always, every year it's the same thing, but it's a little bit different. But there's struggles, and they're not just head coaches. Sometimes they're a second parent to these people. And it's not just they're they're taken for granted. I mean, all these coaches in Imperial Valley, they look at these smaller athletes, and there's more to it than just coaching. I mean, Ron can probably touch on this more. Ron has seen more than I have, so he'd be the one to tell you a lot about that stuff, right, Coach?
That's right. Well, you know what? A lot of the words, before I go on, you're welcome, Gilly, because Gilly was one of my players. Kind of like a little fun fact, there was one game I was a JV coach, and Robbie Rubio was Gilly's friend, and we had a bad first half, and then we're walking on with Coach Brown. I'm walking down to go talk to the players, and we thought, go to the end zone, we'll talk to you right now. Then we finally get there. We're talking in a huddle and everything. And then there's old Gilly Revelar and Robbie Rubio laughing away at everything I said, and the funny thing was, one of the players said, "Hey, Coach, you see your nephew and that kid right there? Yeah, what about him?" They're coming over here just to hear you talk, just to hear you get on the players. It was Gilly Revelar. Let's go hear Ronnie rip into these kids because they had a bad half. But anyway, That's the way you learn. That's the way we learn.
Oh,
And, you know, Billy's like a nephew to us. You know, Gabriel's our good friend.
Yeah.
And, but what Gilly said about, it's a perfect example. Hey, you may not be the best student K through your senior year, but if you get that wake-up call, you know, hey, man, just like Gilly did. Hey, look at Gilly now. He's got his master's. He's got a bachelor's. He's sitting as a school board member. That's the kind of kids that we've been coaching our whole lives. You know, these are the kind of kids that Brawley's made up of. You know, we're not always going to be the fast starters. We're not always going to have the silver spoon in our mouth to achieve what we need to achieve. And Gilly is a perfect example of how it is. If you put your mind to something, you can accomplish it. And also, you know, I liked how Gilly related football to it, because football, if you're not a structured person, if you can't get up in the morning at 6 o'clock, hey, how many 17, 16-year-old kids want to wake up at 5:30 to get to a 6 o'clock weightlifting? I don't know too many, but it takes a special person to do that. And right now, anybody watching, look at that young man right there, Gilly Rebelard. That's a perfect example of doing, you know, figuring things out, man. And
Yeah.
I'm very happy to see a guy like that in the position he's in to help others. So that's what I got to say about Gilly. I mean, we could tell stories about Gilly all night long, but in seriousness, this is what he's become. And, you know, hey, we'll let him handle it from here. But
yeah, no, you know, the respect and discipline I learned. You know, I have a mouth. I still have a mouth.
oh yeah,
You know,
you have to have one.
Coach Bishop, Coach Sal, Coach Landy would, you know, and hey, get on me and tell me what I was doing wrong. I knew where it was coming from. I knew it wasn't because they were just picking on me, or they were,
No.
you know, they knew what I was capable of, and they would let me know. And all coaches, you know, from JV to freshmen, schoonovers, you know, I mean, whoa, that was my taste of, okay, there's levels to this, you know, from Pop. I only played 2 years of Pop Warner, and one of those years I broke my wrist the first game. So really one season of Pop Warner, and then going into freshman with Coach Pete and Coach Sheldon and their style, and you know, helped discipline me. You know, I had a mouth with everyone else except when, you know, when I went to that weight room or I stepped into on that field, hey, I better shut up because there's standards. You know, there's a Brawley pride. That Brawley pride is real. You know, that when you put that blue and gold on, you're expected to play up, and that goes for everyone, man. I remember kids, the respect that coaches had for everyone, from not just the starters, but even there's guys that never went on that field once or a few times, and they were still, you know, lacing up, expected to, you know, perform well at those standards. So I mean, all across the board, man, it is, and you know, it takes, you know, you don't realize. I didn't realize it until I got older. You know, the things I learned from it as I straightened out.
That's true.
Realized, you know, hey, I'm able to do these things. You kind of try to trace it back. Where did it come from? Obviously parents, obviously family, and then there's things throughout your life that you look back and they really build cornerstones in your character and who you are. And football is one of those cornerstones of who I am and of my life.
It's good to hear, especially when you talk about work ethic. I mean, you know, both your grandmas and your grandparents, and then, you know, glad to see Copa Gabe doing good, you know, after, you know, last couple of months, man, he's looking awesome and he's putting in some work. And then, you know, your mom just running around all over the place, you know.
The potential's always been there. It's just, you know, me, I like to play hard, you know, and so, you know, but, you know, it all comes together, right? We're all here. Everything happens for a reason, you know.
Exactly.
And, you know, everything happened, you know, football was in my life for a reason, and it's just paid dividends. So, you know, I know. I said I heard your conversation with Doug a little while ago, and you know, we're all itching for sports and school to be back. And I guarantee you, when it comes back, people are going to be loving it. The appreciation for sports and high school sports is going to be at all-time high, and you guys are in a great position to broadcast it. It's going to be, you guys are really going to be doing a great service for parents, teachers, school employees, administrators, and the communities throughout the valley and throughout the state. I mean, you guys are really, VSN is going to provide a really great service that is very highly needed as we move into recovery.
Well, not only that, I mean, Ronnie and I really enjoy this part of the VSN, and then we enjoy also the broadcasting. And, you know, we feel comfortable talking to the coaches and talking to the fans, talking to the scholar athletes, and you know, we've built very good relationships with all these people, and you know, we're a little bit different. I like to say we're a little bit different than other people that broadcast because we're just one-on-one. It's like the way I talk to Ronnie when we broadcast the game, like I talk to him, we're in the couch talking about our plans for next week or going over things. We don't change our tone or nothing. So yeah, I mean, we're not as good as John Moreno and Vic Carrillo, but you know, we do have a goal to reach,
you need
man.
like from the CEO of whatever, you know, you need one of
The
those.
Cia Cortez, buddy. Come on now. If you you gotta.
Yeah, what differentiates you guys? So I was telling you yesterday, you know, when I first tuned in a VSN football game, I know what to expect. You know, I've seen other ones from other, you know, organizations. I thought, is it going to be just game tape and just, you know, simply how's the production? And I was blown away. You had the ticker, you had the score, the production. And when I had my little podcast, you know, I understand the technical side of it. People don't realize, you know, how technical and how much you got to get right to, you know, put out a quality product. And your production was amazing. You know, everything about it was top notch. What differentiated was really like your commentary. You know, your passion for the sport was apparent, man. Like you could just feel it. The history, the background, everything you guys were saying, you know, hit home to me. And you guys are Brawley guys, but even then, you know, it was passion not just for Brawley, but for all the athletes on the field and all the schools, you know, that you broadcasted. So you guys do a really great job. That does differentiate you guys from everyone else.
We appreciate that. And just so you know, last year Ronnie cried on the air. So just so
I cried twice. Not once, but twice.
I've cried like 12 times in the past 5 weeks, man.
and thank you for the kind words. But in all honesty, and Ron knows this, and everybody inside VSN knows this, and a lot of people on the outside know this. If it wasn't for Joaquin Matus, we wouldn't be where we're at right now, which is Sarah, my wife's, he's a stepkid, Joaquin Matus. He's low-keyed. This kid just kicks ass. He makes things happen that just you know, the kid is talented, man. And if it wasn't for him, he's the one that really, he's the heart and soul of VSN, to be honest with you. He's just making us look good, to be honest. Right.
Yeah, no, it takes all kinds, everything coming together to put out. People don't ever see behind the scenes, you know, and yeah, you're probably I agree with you. Everything has to come together to put out something special, which is what you guys have.
So, well, we want to thank you for the kind words, and we appreciate you coming on the air. And I will tell you this: we would like to have you as a halftime guest.
Oh, for sure.
Dude, I was going to go to the game, and at one of the games, I was like, can I just walk up in there and maybe?
Oh, heck yeah, man! You got to get past Carlos, security Carlos, though. If you can get past him.
Well,
if you get past him, you're more than welcome.
You know, I don't want to say, do you know who I am? You know, you know, but yeah, no, I really appreciate it. Like I said, I really look anything to be a part of, you know, of what you guys are doing. Yeah, I'd love to. So yeah, count me. When do we return to school in 2024? I'm just kidding. No, I'm not gonna.
The first thing I said at the beginning of the thing was, somebody might say something and don't believe them because nobody knows nothing what's going on. So
no, we know this whole thing's changing every day, man. One day I feel optimistic, the next day I don't know. It literally changes day by day. You know, and it changes fast. Like I said, it changes fast. So, but I know as soon as we get dates, as soon as we get info, as soon as we have clear things to report, you guys will know and the community will know. So we're working hard throughout. The county's working hard. The school's working hard. Everyone is just really trying to get back to a sense of normalcy. And once we get some things set, it's going to pop off. So yeah, just got to wait.
Sounds good, Gilly. And say hi to everybody. Say hi to your mom and dad for me and your grandmas for me. And we look forward to seeing you soon. We're going to let you go right now. Me and Ron are going to stay on the air a little bit. And thanks again. And we'll see you later, Gil. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate it, guys. Good night.
Good night, brother.
Well, once again, man, me and Ron and I have been having a blast doing this. Correct, Ron?
That's right. Hey, this was our first shot. This was our first, what do we call this? Is it a podcast or I don't know what
Zoom.
it is?
We don't even know what to call it. It's called Zoom.
We don't even know what to call it. So, hey, this was a virgin territory for us. Looked like hopefully we did okay. We got 3 more nights of it, and I'm looking forward to tomorrow, Will.
Yeah, tomorrow starting at 7 o'clock. Like I said, we have the icons of Calexico. We have the legendary John Moreno and Vic Carrillo starting off the evening at 7 p.m. Then at 7:15, we have Coach Ruben Castro. He was the freshman coach for the Calexico Bulldogs. And right now they're in a position where the position just opened for the head coach in Calexico. We're going to ask him, we're going to pick his brain a little bit about the history of the Bulldogs and what he's done with the Bulldogs. He's been a defensive coordinator a lot of years. He's been at Vincent Memorial, so we look forward to talking with him. And then we got Coach Wally Grant. He's out of Palo Verde now. He's been there for 2 years. He's been a successful coach all from the West Coast, and now he's settled down in Palo Verde, and he's taking care of those Yellow Jackets. And he's also going to join the league, like we talked about, the Desert League. And so we're going to ask him a couple of questions. He's actually got a good squad coming up. We're going to ask him about that young squad that's coming up, Ron.
That's right.
And then and we're gonna corner Craig Lyon and see what he says about that position that Doug Klein was talking about.
There you go. It's a domino effect, brother.
Ronnie and I, good night from VSN headquarters. Peace out. Thank you very much for watching. Tune in tomorrow at 7 p.m. Good night.